About 19 years ago, I've met my girlfriend, which became my wife. And at the stage, the previous owner, things didn't go well on the farm. So my father's family history is on this farm as well, for growing up here, living their whole lives here and so on. So I met my wife here and then came to rent a house. At that stage, I was a manager at a building company, a building construction company. So with the 50-50 percentage, it was just, again, the feeling of the owners to say something. You know, and like I said, Professor said, he really wants to come and change what he can in South Africa and be part of it. Being previously living in South Africa, he just felt that there's so many things that need to be changed. And he felt that by giving a 50% shares is really his way of saying, I really want to be part of the new South Africa.
Look, essentially, Minister of Land Reform, Mr. Nkwinti, announced the project in April 2014 and was looking for projects that could kind of lead the way. So essentially, we're one of the first that was put into place. I think actually the first maybe that was concluded. And essentially what it entails is a move from a situation where a farm is fully owned by the farm owner. 50% is transferred to the workers in principle, and funding that's made available through that is actually made available to the business. It doesn't go out to the farmer, but is used to recapitalize the business and to grow the business for the benefit of both parties. Embracing the primary objectives of our trust, which were to break the cycle of dependency that farm workers had in the past. You effectively had an economic form of slavery, because if you grew up without an education, the motivation to take on a job early on, which paid a lot less in wages and gave you a roof over your head and food on the table, was compelling. And it didn't really take you anywhere, and it kind of trapped you on a farm. So our primary objectives of our Workers' Trust in the beginning was to provide an education to children so that they were free to choose what they could do in life, and then to also assist with independent housing.
Oh, it's great, man. I mean, the world changed so much. As I mentioned before, I'm an indigenous person of this land, and I didn't even own a piece of land, you know. So with this deal, it just opens up so many doors for us. Previously, the owner, I mean, the reason why we stood here with this deal, it just says how much the person, the owners mean or feel towards the farm and the people. So this gives us now a chance to have something, you know, to share it and give and to leave a legacy behind. That we came from a 300-year period of enslavement on farms, and now the chains has been broken. Now we can all look forward and actually share and have something in life, and that you can carry on with your legacy behind, and kids and everybody to come, you know. So to me, that's a wonderful step. And it I always tell people, if it's not something bad, it just can be good. So that's it.
Well, so on our farm, we've taken a very hard look at the history of this farm. I mean, to the extent where we brought an archaeologist, a historian, we, with the workers, dug up the farm. We've got a social history museum now that tells the story of our farm and has confronted the pretty dark and ugly past of our farm, which is no different to most farms. And in going through that process and learning the significance of the land reform issue, learning the significance of culture, heritage, identity, and everything that matters to people who are on a farm, and bearing in mind that farms, I mean, we're living organisms. We don't switch off our machines at 5 o'clock and go home and that's it for the day. So it's very, very people-oriented. There's huge communities of people that live off and feed off a farm employment structure and so on. Yeah, so taking all of that into account, it was an easy decision to go in this direction.